Hi everyone, good afternoon. This is Sir Pat and welcome to my video lecture for English 110. In this video lecture, I will be discussing the kinds of reports. What are the three kinds of report? Number two is I will be discussing formal report and its parts. I expect that while I'm discussing the things that I have to discuss here in the video lecture, I want you to answer, I want you to make sure that you will comprehend, understand, or you understand it properly, everything that I am discussing. So I will be doing in a slower or an average pace primarily because I want you guys to pause it from time to time, especially when you are not familiar or you cannot get the discussion or explanation that I am giving you. Now, this video lecture will be uploaded in your LMS together with a discussion tab where you can comment and you can ask questions if there are any. So while the discussion is ongoing, you can just jot down notes and you can write down notes and later on is you can answer or ask question in the discussion tab. So without further ado, let's begin. Let's talk about the kinds of report. We have three kinds of report, and I believe that I have or I was able to discuss this already in the introduction of this chapter. But let me discuss it to you thoroughly. Let's talk about academic writing. When we are talking about academic writing, this is an extremely formal report. Typically, it should be free of contraction and any sort of slang. When we are talking about academic writing, you already know that when we are writing academic writing, it's always in a third person. It's always straightforward and it's always focusing on the subject matter itself. It could be about any topic, could be an essay, could be a concept paper. You guys have been exposed already in a lot of academic writing. The second thing, guys, is what we call business writing. This is an example of a formal report that focuses on corporate businesses. So it also take on a formal tone. However, this is more casual and jargon is well accepted, primarily because it is already a specific field of education. And lastly, guys, is technical writing. When we're talking about technical writing, you just have to put in mind that this is a report that talks about a process on how to do something. So this is more of a descriptive in nature, and it always shows you the step-by-step approach of a particular procedure. This is where tech book enters. This is where practical skills development enters when we're talking about technical writing. So remember the three kinds of report: academic, business, and technical writing. So this is how you write a paper or a report. First is you have to plan out first. Okay, you have to ask yourself, what's my purpose of writing the report? And then you can conduct preliminary research through surveys. You can ask people, you can ask respondents, and then you can outline the flow of your report. And you can also assess in your end what are the data available in my hand or on my table right now so that you know what is the scope of the report that you guys are going to make. Second, this is a bigger step already, which is write. When we're going to write, you need to make sure that we are phrasing the wordings already. We're laying out the pages, but it's not just about laying out the page. It's not just about the wording, but when we talk about writing, it should comprise already all of the parts, all of the sections that you guys have to include. So you need to get already at least the 60% of the idea per chapter of the report so that you will be ready to write. Third, that output, assuming that you guys are finished, that output is basically just a draft because you still have to revise it. You still need to proofread the report itself. You need to grammar check and you need to verify if the purpose was able to attain. So this is the process that we have to put in mind when we are going to write a report paper or any thesis paper. Okay, so now let's talk about formal report thoroughly. In this discussion, formal report provides information and recommendation. As I have said, when we are discussing the classification of reports, formal report becomes analytical, formal report becomes long, formal report provides recommendation. A report can be considered as formal when the report is not just providing information, but the report itself is providing recommendations or solutions. Meaning to say, we cannot give a solution if there is no existing problem. Am I correct? Definitely, right? So, when we are writing a formal report, there should be an analysis of a particular problem or specific problem, or even an existing problem that has not been solved in the previous report. So, we need to provide recommendations. For example, how do we improve marketing strategies in increasing the number of enrollees for school year 2022-2023? That could be a report, meaning to say that could be a formal report if and only if there is a significant decrease in the enrollees of school year 2021-2022. So that alone can be analyzed by a formal report and can be provided by a recommendation, a particular solution. Also, a formal report is also conventional and fully dressed. When we say fully dressed, it includes a lot of things. It includes all of the things, and it just like, or it seems like you guys are writing a research paper. You're going to notice that one later on when when I'm going to discuss the parts of formal report. So it is considered as almost full. Everything is there. Every data, every analysis, every figures, every table, everything should be there. That is an example of formal report. Excuse me. Okay. So that's an example of a formal report. Let's talk about the parts of a formal report. I want you guys to be very careful and carefully listen in the discussion that I'll be giving, because this might be your final output. Let's talk about the title page. When we are talking about title page, let me just clear this out. A title page has no specific format. Okay, our country has no specific format for title page. Why? Our title page may vary depending upon your company's requirements, okay, or requirements. It will differ from time to time depending on what company you are with, depending on what purpose are you going to do in that particular report. So I cannot tell you what's really the specific parts or formatting of a report. However, I can tell you what are the things that we have to include in a title page. In Roman numeral number 1, you have to include the full title of the report. When I say full title of the report, the title should reflect the topic, the scope, or meaning to say the people who are involved, and the objective or the purpose of the report. Okay, it should reflect there. Okay, number 2, there should be, or it should include, the title itself should show the feasibility or the scope or annuality of report in the title or even in the subtitle, right? Third, do not abbreviate in the title. Make sure that all of the information is complete. Number 4, or letter D, put the time period in the subtitle. When we say time period, how long did this report go? How long did this report was crafted, right? So you have to include the time period. Number 2, it includes the names and titles of the writers, investigators, and compilers. This is you guys. All of the people involved in the report should be included there. Number 3, include the dates and the time period represented by the report. I already mentioned this in number 1. It's just being repeated in number 3. Okay. And in number 4, the title should include the name of your organization. And number 5, provide the name of the company or individual receiving the report. I just want to clarify this one though, okay? Because you might get confused. How do we do that? Okay, remember that we have internal and external report. Am I correct? Yes. Okay, so if the internal report, or if you're doing an internal report, this one, okay, should contain the name of your department. Okay, and then this one, the number 5, okay, number 5, guys, should be for your boss. Okay, that is for internal report. What about external? All right. What about external, Sir Pat? When we say external, guys, this one should be the name of the company, and this should be the name of the other company who will receive the report. That is if it is an external report. Okay, that's what you have to put in your title. So a title itself, okay, can stand alone already and can give already a hint on your readers on what are the things that you are going to discuss. If you're going to check itself, the title is almost complete already, but there is no data yet. You get me? So that is what you need to put in the title page. We have 4 styles in writing a title. Can be a one line, kasing derecho. Number 2 would be a parallel line or a justified formatting. Pyramid would be a center, okay, starting from 2 words to 3 words to 4 to 5 words below, or an inverted pyramid, and you're just going to invert it. 5 words, 4 words, 3 words, 2 words, and 1 word. Okay, so that is a title style. All right. Next, dedication page. When we talk about dedication page, it is an offering of the report to an individual or group of an individual. Of course, when we are writing reports, when we're writing research papers, it's not just all about how do we, what did we do as a researcher, but there are people as well who supported us in writing that report. That's the purpose of dedication page. This in an example of a dedication page. I'll give you 5 seconds to take a picture of this. 5, 4, 3, 2, 1, 0. And I want you to pause the video and read the dedication. Go. Now I feel like you're done in reading the example. So I feel like we can now proceed. So next, acknowledgement. It contains a words of thanks to those who have helped in the completion of the report. If you're going to analyze, dedication and acknowledgement are just the same. So there are institutions, there are companies who do not require for you to have an acknowledgement because it will be included already in the dedication, right? Next, preface. This is an introductory statement written to announce, okay? Announce the purpose, okay? When I announce the purpose and scope of the report, you need to tell already your readers what is the purpose of the writing. And the preface should do the following. Provide the background and the purpose of the report. So you need to comprehensively tell what are you going to do with your report. Specify the audience of the report, who are the respondents, who are the people involved. Acknowledge any direct or indirect assistance. Is there any involvement from other departments? Is there any involvement from your boss in your company? Okay, and cite permissions for copyrighted work. This is an example of a preface. Again, I'll give you 5 seconds, or I'll give you the chance to pause the video, and I want you to read the preface. Okay, I guess we are back. We can now proceed with forwards. Forewords should be written by someone other than the author of the report. Forewords may lean toward academic or scientific reports. You need to understand that when we are talking about forewords, guys, okay, this is someone, okay, when we say someone, this someone was able to read already the report ahead of time before its publication, and he will be giving his takeaways, his comments, or even his suggestions, and it will give a hint to the future readers what are the things that they can get in this particular report. That is the purpose of forewords. It will help your people, or it will help you to really see what is the forward, or what is the takeaways of the reader. I have an example here of a forward here. Again, I'll give you time to pause the video and then read the forward. You will see there an observation. You will see there, guys, okay, a comment. Yeah. So you can pause that one and uh, focus on the highlighted section. Pause the video. All right. So I think you guys are done since you already resumed the video. Now, let's talk about abstract. This is very important, guys, because when we're talking about abstract, this is a condensed version of the report and it summarizes the major points of the report. When we say abstract, it depends again on the company or institution that asked you from this. But an abstract should, a paragraph should stand up. It's a kind of paragraph in your report that can stand alone. When I say stand alone, in 250 to 300 words, you were able already to describe your entire report, your problem, your data, your figures, your findings, and your conclusion in 250 to 300 words. This is not easy, okay? This has never been easy, okay? When you are going to write an abstract, you cannot, let me highlight this as well, you cannot write an abstract without finishing your report. You have to complete everything first before you can summarize it, right? And when writing an abstract, you can begin with a topic sentence that provides the purpose and the scope of the report. So that is an abstract. Of course, next, table of contents. I'm not gonna be very thorough on the table of contents, but you guys know already that when we are talking about table of contents, the reader with a list of headings and page, or provides the reader the guidance on where can they find a particular section. Take a look at this example. See? However, guys, I just want to highlight though that when we are talking about this, okay, the figures, the tables, acknowledgement, the abstract, it should be in a, as you can see here, it should be in a Roman numeral. But when we are going to enter in the body, ito na, okay, it should be in the numerical form. Okay? So, tandaan po yung parts ng abstract. Okay? Or parts ng report. Okay, so that's an example of a table of contents. Next, let's talk about list of figures. Of course, in your report, you need to present figures, right? You need to present a graph, you need to present a pie graph, you need to present a bar graph, you need to present demographics, you need to present statistical evidences. Now, when we are writing, or list of figures is used when a report contains more than 5 figures. Okay, number of figures consecutively with Roman numerals, and a tables is used if there are more than 5 tables in a report, or number tables consecutively in Arabic numbers. This is an example of a figures and tables. Okay, so they said that in figure number 1, it is all about line graph showing sales of 2007 to 2008. Okay, another one, a pie chart in figure number 2 of customers demographics. So that's an example of a list of figures and tables. Next, let's talk about, guys, the very important thing as well, the body. Okay, this is the main section of the report. It includes technical terms and jargons already. And there are several sections, each clearly labeled, making it easy for readers to understand or find the information that they want to. So in research papers, there are 5 chapters. Chapter 1 would be introduction. Chapter 2 would be related literature. Chapter 3 is a methodology. Chapter 4 is findings and recommendations. And chapter 5 or findings, I mean, and chapter number 5 would be the recommendation. So that's an example of a section by section. It describes and explain also the purpose, the scope, the methods, and contains an executive summary or introduction, the text, the conclusions, and the recommendations. So if you're going to double check, guys, in this one, okay, this is the entire body of a research. This. That's the entire body of a research. That's what I am talking about. Okay. Now, so take a look at this introduction. It's very complete. Again, I'll give you 5 seconds to pause and read it. So as you can see here, guys, in this introduction, okay, let's resume. I believe that you guys are done reading it. If you're going to double check, here in the report is already the purpose or the objective is already present. Okay, this is also present, right? This is also present in the previous reports. Okay, and this is also discussing the scope of the report. Okay, so if you're going to double check here, is in this introduction, I would already assume that the reporter will give a comparative decision making of what or how are they going to develop their staffing and how are they going to improve their sales. It is already evident in the example. Okay. Next, appendices. We have to understand that each section cannot be discussed thoroughly. I mean, each section in the body, okay, has subtopics as well. Now, if you want to dig more deeper or more deep, I mean, in the discussions that you guys made in the body, however, you cannot extend it anymore because you'll lose control in the research, you can use the power of appendices. Appendices are meant to supplement the body by providing additional information that may be too dense for the audience of the report, but may be of interest to any secondary audience or members. Now, how do we do appendices? Say, for example, that you mentioned in the body or in the methodology that you guys look for the Department of Education circulars related to special education. What you have to do in the body is just basically define this circular, but you don't have to give all of the circulars related in the special education. Just have to define it. But what if the readers want to know what are these circulars related to special education? Then you can use your appendix. You can attach all of the circulars related to special education by the Department of Education so that they can look at it. You cannot put this in the body primarily because it will confuse your reader, and number 2, it will make your report not concise. So put it in the appendix. Whenever you want to expand a particular discussion or institutional provisions, you can use your appendices. Clear? Okay, hope that is clear. Now, let's proceed to the next. Okay. Next one, guys, is glossary. Glossary is the definition of terms. All right. However, you cannot use glossary alone to define every term because you have to do it in the body as well. If you mention a particular jargon, if you mention a particular concept, which not really much familiar with your readers, you have to give your readers a definition already. in the body itself. But glossary's purpose is to consolidate all of those terms in the report so that you can arrange it alphabetically and you can put it in the glossary. This is an example, guys, of glossary. Okay, this one, right? Next, bibliography. When we are saying bibliography, these are the pool of your resources or your references. All, and I say all of the resources, all of the references that you have put in the body should be mentioned here. And the arrangement of the citations in the bibliography should be also arranged on what part in the body did you use that as a resource or as a reference, I mean. Okay, so this is an example of an APA bibliography. I believe that I already gave or let you watch an APA video. How do we do APA? So this is an example of an APA. Next, index. When we're talking about index, these are the alphabetical listing of all of the topics and subtopics found in your report. Now, index purpose is, of course, it will help your future reports. All right. So that if you're going to make a report or another report per month, you don't have to take a look at all of the reports. You just have to go to the index for you to know what are the things that you have discussed on that particular report so that you'll know where to enter on the next report that you are going to make. Okay, it can help you as word search to find page number, or index is the last section of the report that you can create. This is an example of an index. Next, these are the three things that I want you to put in your introduction. Okay, when you are writing an intro, one, a statement of the problem or situation. Two, the task assigned to the writer and the scope of the project. And number three, the purpose of the report, and forecast for the reader, the topics of the report. So again, ulitin ko lang. Okay, you have to put the problem. What are we going to analyze? Okay. Next, you have to put the scope of the project, the time, the people involved, and your objectives. Okay. If you want, you can go back to the previous example of an introduction. You will see these three things. Okay. All right. Next. So that's it. Those are the parts of the report, ladies and gentlemen. I hope that you guys have learned something in this video lecture. You can comment down in the discussion tab for all of your questions and queries, and I'll be answering them once and all right. Thank you very much and have a great rest of the day. Bye, everyone.